Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the B Plus podcast. Can you believe we have 2 episodes in 1 week? We are
I can believe it.
We're going really well right now. Things are going well.
Dude, don't think, okay, come on. Yeah.
Listen,
We
this
were
is
just talking to you the other day when you were
this
driving in your car and you got abducted by aliens. I thought the whole show was over. Done.
this is the most refreshing thing that I have ever done. That coming on here to talk whatever for an hour or plus and not have to sit there and grind Destiny 2. It is so fucking refreshing.
What did you play that on? Is that Xbox?
I played. It's one game that I own on PC and Xbox.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, before we get started tonight, Raymond, anybody that's in chat, could ask questions. I'll be monitoring it. So if you have anything you want to add to the cast, of course you can do that. So tonight was a topic picked by Nasum.
Yep.
So he wanted to talk about smartphones. Now I am a smartphone connoisseur.
I don't know if connoisseur is a strong enough word.
To where I might have a little bit of a problem.
You have a problem. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have a problem, but I have a problem, but it always ends up being the Google phone. It always does.
I don't even know why you circle away. You're just wasting your own time. I like to use 2 phones. I was thoroughly confused. I was like, 2 phones? Wow, both working?
Because I got 2 phones. Did you ever hear that? Well, you don't listen to rap.
No, I don't do that stuff. I don't waste my time.
Well, I had. You'll get the iPhone 13. I will not get the. Okay. Let me be honest with everybody. This year, and it's all because I watch way too much tech YouTube.
Is that where you watch it, really?
I watched way too much tech YouTube, and
whenever I want to learn something, I usually go to CNET. I find that they're very serious over there. Did you ever go to that?
CNET. Everybody hated the new Pixel. Everybody. So I actually looked at an iPhone because I was getting angry with just with compromises of Android. There's no Android. There's no Android that's everything. There's always a compromise. So if you get the new Note 10, you have the best screen, but you don't have that new 90 hertz refresh. Even though this year, is going to be 120 hertz refresh on all the Samsung devices.
The industry is just going to push itself forward, and when you have 2 competitors that are making a lot of money, much like Apple and Microsoft used to do, now you have Microsoft, Google, and Samsung going at it. I mean,
yeah. Well, Microsoft put out a Windows phone that no one really gave a shit about.
I bought that. It was terrible.
Yeah. Oh, you did. I forgot you owned it. Tell me about the Windows phone.
What?
Tell me about it.
So I'll tell you about when it stopped working, because you couldn't update the operating system, and then I couldn't go to simple websites or do anything with it. It became an MP3 player faster than I could blink, and then I got Anne-Marie to get the yellow one with the really nice camera. And when the power jack died on that thing, it could never be revived. There's nothing that you can't hold any energy in its battery. They were terrible phones from the start to the finish. Nokia tried to come back. LG tried to come back. I did a Motorola try to come back recently.
Yeah, they have a new Razr out.
Get out of here.
It's a flip phone. It's a flip phone with the full screen that folds. The screen folds.
Wow. Well, I got my broken Note 8 over here. It's not broke. It's just cracked.
You can buy mine for $200. You want
$200?
I'll sell you mine. $200.
Getting deals. I didn't expect to get a deal this quick.
I always circle back to what happened was when I left iPhone. I was never like this. When I was younger and the iPhone came out, I'm like, it's a phone. I was that guy.
Did you ever own one?
An iPhone? Yeah, I was. Once the iPhone 4 came out, I went iPhone. I had the Motorola Droid before that. Android was in its early stages. I didn't like it at all.
Anything's better than all that stuff. But right then, at that point in time, you're talking about a real thing. That was the best phone on the market, I think. I got either a Droid, which was a mistake, or
which was a mistake.
Which was a huge mistake.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I was iPhone, and then once they came out with the 6, I think. Once they came out with the 6, and I got it, and I looked at it, and I'm like, this is the same shit all the time. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing different. And to me, it was like a glorified app launcher. And I'm like, I can get this. So this is when I started diving into tech YouTube, and the most popular tech YouTuber is MKBHD. And I saw that he really enjoyed Android and he enjoyed the Note. So I went out and bought a Note 4. I actually was in the Verizon store with an iPhone where it was the first time they went with
I think I have the Note 4. That was my first venture over to Samsung. Huh? It's messed up.
that's why I switched to Android. Then the iPhone 10 came out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sitting in the Verizon store with this iPhone, and it's the first time that Apple came out with the plus size.
Yeah.
So it was like, everybody wanted it, and I'm sitting here with it in my jacket pocket, like hoarding it because everybody's in the store like, when are you gonna get them, when are you gonna get them, and here I am giving it back.
Oh.
And
Like, here, I don't want this.
so I went.
Please delete information on my phone. They go, yes, we'll do that. They walk in the back and they just start looking through your phone.
I went to a Note 4 and I got it, and I'm like, this is fantastic. I love this. And then I started really diving into tech YouTube, and I hear about Google putting out a phone called the Nexus 6.
Oh, that's right. It was the Nexus before the Pixel.
Right. So it was the Nexus 6. So not only is it Google's phone, it's how they think, the creators of Android think that Android should be. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, well, you get like a 30-day window or something to return it. So I go and get rid of it because I wanted everybody was talking about this stock Android experience. So I go and return it and get the Nexus 6, and it ships to me, and that was awesome. But at that time, it was a 6-inch phone, and it was a slab. Like, it didn't fit in cup holders.
I remember when it came out. I did look at it. I was like, this is a nice idea. Google doesn't want to have to be reliant on some other company to push their operating system around. So this is their answer.
The thing with the Nexus line of phones, though, was that you got a phone with the top specs. Like, Samsung was selling their phones for, let's say, $700-800 at that time. You can get a Nexus with the best, with some of the best specs and stock Android. So back then, the Samsung bloat was disgusting. Like, it was, their UI was awful. Like, I hated it. When I got that Nexus, it was like a breath of fresh air. But not only that, you're getting a top of the line phone, and Google was selling it for like $550.
Okay.
So you're getting this top of the line phone for very, very cheap compared to the competition. And then the Pixel line came out, and they're just like, oh, we want to fight with Apple, so we're going to sell $1,000 phones. I'm like, well, really? there goes that.
Yeah. Who's your provider? Just so I know.
Verizon.
So you're a Verizon guy. I was AT&T for way too long, and I finally made the switch over to T-Mobile, and I'm happy so far. The prices are better. That's it. You don't need to pay a lot for.
I thought you were on Mint.
It's T-Mobile's network. Mint is the one that I have that's the chip I put into the phone. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's still like and it just came on. And I'm like, oh, all right. So I'm on.
Well, tell us about your venture into Mint and what it provides, and for people, especially me, like I don't know. And in the beginning of this year, I was going to have to find. I was gonna have to find my own, because I've always been on the family business plan. Because yeah, so I thought he was gonna make me go on my own, which was fine. But because I don't work for them anymore. But he said, if you buy your phone, you could stay on the plan because I get a good deal through the business and all that. Okay. So I said I always buy my phones outright anyway.
You usually do.
We could talk about that, but tell me, because my thing was that I was going to go to Project Fi, since being a Google user of Pixel phones, Google has their own service called Google Fi, and I was going to go on that. So I didn't, but tell me about your process and why you went with Mint.
I had to switch off of AT&T, off of a family plan, and then I was learning very quickly, for someone by themselves, there's no really good deals out there. Like you'll go to T-Mobile and you'll get their Magenta plan, which is $70, unlimited every month. And like, I don't want to pay $70. I was paying 50 on a family plan.
Is that one person?
Yeah, one person. If you try to go alone at this, you're gonna have a harder time. So then I started buckling down and being like, listen, Train,
Yeah.
It shouldn't be this hard for one person to be able to maintain having like a decent data plan and unlimited everything else, because, well, let's face it, like talk and text should always be unlimited. So I ran in the Mint. I saw that they were stable for more than a year. They had good deals last year. They didn't crumble, obviously. They make all their money. Well, they save a lot of money by not having stores. So there's a lot of overhead they don't have to deal with. They still have online help. You can get phones through them. You can get tech assistance from them. I didn't do any of this. I just brought my phone over, slapped the chip in that I paid for, prepaid. So I paid $15 a month, $45 for the first 3 months, 12 gigabytes capped. So it's the biggest package they have for data. And talk and text is obviously unlimited. And the reason they have no unlimited is because they always want to know what they're dishing around. Like they'll have 3 gigabytes, 6, 9, 12, and then you start messing with their packages because they want to deal in bulk. It's actually a really smart idea. But yeah, if I want to do their bulk plan, when I'm done with this one for $45 for 3 months, I can do 12 gigabytes, 12 months, and it'll be $25 per month. And then I just choose to either re-up or you go somewhere else, right?
Right.
There's no real contract.
And then you
pay all your money up front and you're done.
You could use any phone that you want.
Yeah, so it came in the mail real fast in a FedEx package, and I was getting 2 days from when my bill ended with AT&T. I started switching it over. So if you're ever going to switch your phone over on different networks and you want your number, you have to have your number has to be active. Don't let your account go inactive, because then they have to go and reactivate it and find it. So if you're trying to keep a number and not generate a new number, then there's some things you want to think about, but it's not terribly hard to do at all. You put the SIM card in, you have to follow a couple of the instructions that they will provide for you on their own website. If you get confused, you can call somebody, but pretty straightforward. It takes about 2 hours, like when you're switching over.
Any dips in the service? Like, did you find service was better on AT&T?
I'm having a better service on T-Mobile's towers than I ever did on AT&T.
That's crazy. It doesn't make any sense.
There's places that I used to be able to go to where I work, and I would just get nothing with AT&T. And with T-Mobile, I'm fine. And I don't know. I had such a sour experience with AT&T, especially the time when you might have been around for this. I called them for 6 months, like every day, maybe 5 days a week and the minimum time on each call is 45 minutes. They always pass me around to 3 people. Everyone said they were going to do something. No one did a thing. And I had to get, it was like $500 taken off the bill because there was a storm and they didn't receive the phone I was sending back in time. So they just charged me like an exuberant amount of money. The phone was worth $135 used. It didn't make any sense. I never wanted the phone in the first place because you and I couldn't have Note 7s because they were blown up.
Right.
So I got stuck with this Edge thing that I never wanted. Then they're charging me for it. That all I wanted to do was get another phone, and I had such an awful experience. I just wanted it away from AT&T, and I'm out of there, man. I'll let you know how things go with T-Mobile. Mint. So far, it's cheaper, it's better, and I don't even know how much data I use a month.
What's your next phone?
Well, we had a discussion where if I have a crack in my phone, and I confirmed this with someone at the mall today. Yes, I went to the Wyoming Valley Mall. I'm like, how much to fix this? And she puts her phone down because she's on the phone. And she goes, this is Samsung. We don't do that. But if you pay me first, then I'll do it. And I'm like, well, how much? She's like, this is a $300 part that has to be fixed. And I'm like, I could just get a Pixel, because you and I talked about the bare base model Pixels, I believe.
Yeah. So May 7th, 2019 is when the 3A XL came out. The 4A XL will probably be coming out around that time too. I would definitely look into picking that up because, like I said, you're going to get it's going to be a plastic build, a 1080p screen instead of a quad HD.
Okay.
So you know, I mean, for your price, you have to cut back, obviously.
For my price, how's my camera going to be? Bottom line.
Camera's going to be exactly as good as the $1,000 Pixel.
That's all I wanted. I'll pay $300 for that and probably just have a nice time taking a bunch of photos, doing some editing, stuff like that. Since we last talked, I got into photography.
So you know, Google Photos updated today. If you want to check it out. So you know about the like portrait mode and the bokeh effect. So that's like, you know, you have your background blurred out, so your whatever's in focus pops more, you know.
Yeah, it's on like digital SLRs, whether it's mirrorless or not. It's
Right.
you turn that on the lens.
So Google Photos added, I think for iPhone too, uh, you could add the blur effect to photos that didn't have the blur effect. It just came out like yesterday or today.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so check out your Google Photos if you do have it. But the best piece of software ever created for a smartphone, iOS or Android, ever. Google Photos is where it's at. And that and so I'm excited that I have a Pixel again, because now this year they are doing what's called feature drops. So every month they're going to add new features to the phones. That so like this month is going to be with their FaceTime, their Google Duo. They are going to have to where it's going to pick up your face. It's going to frame you, so it'll close in,
Been framed.
and it'll frame you, and then say like Jacob or someone comes in to someone's, I'm talking to someone, and the camera detects another face, it'll actually pan out so everybody's in the shot, and then if he leaves, it'll pan back in and frame.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's really neat.
Technology, right?
Well, that's the thing, is that when before the Pixel line came out, I was on the Nexus, and it was funny because always having
One phone now. Like, do you just have
yeah, Pixel 4. Yep.
Okay.
I have the Note 8 and I have the 3, which I'm giving to a buddy of mine that's good on eBay to sell. So when I was going from the Nexus and then I went to the Note 7, what happens is that I always feel that I always get that itch because Samsung hardware is always better. It's always better.
Oh, dude, they pulled the Peloton commercial. I'm watching the new one right now.
Oh, yeah?
It's the one before, yeah, where they're like, there's guys on bikes and stuff, and they're all working out their house, and they're in a snow globe, and the lights like beat to the beat of the music. And
you love that commercial?
No, I don't. I don't like any of them. They got rid of the one we used to talk about. Oh, and the actress, the Peloton wife. This is a quick update. She just she's not really good at IG, but she tries. She just announced today that she's going to be on the Today Show tomorrow. So.
Oh, geez.
Following up on it, right?
That's not the Tomorrow Show.
She goes, I'll be on the Today Show tomorrow. That's all she said. Yeah, it's the Tomorrow Show. You're right.
Yeah. So what happens
Anyway,
is,
go back to the Pixel.
yeah, what happens is that I always, when you use the phone for a year, you know, you start looking, and then Samsung always has the flashy hardware, and I'm always like, ooh. So a few times I've gone to the Note, and one time was with the Note 7, and I said, oh, I want this hardware. You know, I'm done. I want to change. And what happens, and why I love Google phones so much, is that their machine learning and their AI and everything. It just has so many different processes that happen in the background and make your life easier by just chilling in the background. So they're not up in your face. They're not like, so when you use the phone for a year, you kind of take at least for me, I kind of take like advantage of that. And it
I have to shut off my phone.
All right. And it fades so much into the background that I just don't recognize it anymore. So then I'm always looking for like the new, like, oh, what's this? What's that? And then I switch phones and I go to a different one, and I realize how much that I miss all the features that were in a Google phone. So that's why I've always stayed. Yeah. That's why I've always stayed with the Google phone, is because when you don't notice things because they're in the background, but then when you leave and go to another phone like a Note or Samsung or OnePlus or anything like that, you realize the features that you're missing from the Google phone, that they're not in the background anymore, and you actually did use those all the time, but you just didn't really recognize it because it was there to make your life better without being in your face, you know.
Gotcha. I can attest to that. We went to, where did we go to? We went to Tipsy Turtle. We got wangs. And we were trying spicy stuff, and you installed Gboard on my phone, and I've been using Gboard ever since. I think it knows the way I talk.
Yeah, it's insane, right?
I use the text on it while I'm driving, and everything comes out perfect.
Yeah, it's
not even driving, just standing in the house.
That's because Google Assistant is by far the best assistant on it beats a Siri, it beats any of that stuff.
What are you talking about? Like the Google Pods?
No, like the voice assistant.
Yes, the voice is excellent. Do you have the pod? Do you have any of those pods? Hey,
The
Google, what's the temperature?
The temperature in Port Griffith right now
It's not
is
Port
26.
Griffith.
Due to current wind conditions, it feels like
It thinks I'm in Port Griffith.
So the I have one, two, 3, 4, 5, about 6 Google Homes.
Oh, okay. Do you have the different versions?
And I'm going to tell you the best place for one.
What?
The bathroom.
Why?
because as you know, I don't know if you
taking a crap.
I don't know if you could tell, but I'm bald.
Okay.
Which means I do all my own hair. I do all my own work. So
yeah, that's time consuming. Got it.
Right. So I could put on a podcast while I shave my head and all that. Wouldn't that 20 minutes twice a week? I got a podcast in there, man. I don't hate shaving as much anymore.
Which models did you buy? Because there's the expensive ones, but most people try to get the ones on.
I got 2 last year and this year. Spotify ran if you were a subscriber to Spotify, you got a free one. Wow. So I got 2 from there. I bought the display. The display's in my kitchen.
Okay.
And then I guess bought the other because the one that's in Jacob's room is the first one, the one that looks like an air freshener. That one's in his room.
I might have that one.
Yeah, and then
it's just the pod. It's like, you know.
The minis are the little like circles. They look like.
Yeah, that's the one I have. I have 2 minis.
They look like a giant mesh Mentos.
That's all it's meant to do, right? There's no battery in it. You just do direct power.
Yeah. So I have those. My cousin got me for Christmas. It's not made by Google, but it's built. It has the Google Assistant in it. So I have that one. I moved that downstairs, and then we just got our new one from being a Spotify subscriber for free. But it's cool because I use it all. We use them every single night. We use them in our room for white noise and in the baby's room for white noise.
Oh, really? I know.
Yeah. So if you tell it to play white noise, it'll play a white noise. It'll play a 1-hour track for 12 hours.
Okay.
So it's good for when the baby goes down because he's been sleeping 7 to 7. So we kind of need that 12-hour loop. So
yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's awesome. So now they have a new one with a camera in it, which I would like, but money and stuff.
I just found the $20 ones. I have 2 of them. I got one for my parents, but they didn't use it, so I'm kind of just like tinkering with it here. Obviously, it thinks I'm in Port Griffith, but I'm not. I like them. I talk to them a lot. Just all I ever really ask is, what's the weather? Is it going to rain? What's the temperatures going to be today? I'm constantly sharking the weather. Other than that, I listen to music on them. Sometimes I'll just like hang out in my kitchen and listen to music and see what it's going to choose next. Because I don't belong to Google Play. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
So if I belong to Google Play, I could be like, play this, and it'll just play it. But since I don't, it gives me a station, like its own algorithm based on the people.
You subscribe to Prime, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you just use Amazon Music?
I didn't have anything with can I use Amazon Music through the pod?
Ooh, no. Amazon and Google hate each other.
Yeah, so that's going to be proprietary for Alexa.
It might work.
Listen, I have in my truck. I got the Alexa $22 version, the 3rd generation. I didn't hook it up yet. I just wanted to see what the difference was.
You can cast from your phone. So if you play, like, say you start playing like a song on your phone through Amazon Music, you could cast it to your Google Home.
Okay.
But yeah, and what I like about it too is that you could add them all to like a home group, which also works with Chromecast. So I have a Chromecast in the sunroom. I have a Chromecast in the front room. So when we had people over for Thanksgiving, I play like Christmas music because I love Christmas music. I play it on the home group, and
what do you say?
You say, hey, play whatever.
Play, it's gonna hear me.
Yeah, play Mariah Carey All I Want for Christmas on the home group, and so it triggers all 6 of my homes and all of my Chromecasts to play that in sync.
You would have loved this. I started a holiday, and it was like play Thanksgiving, either music or songs got you on this one particular kind of nice algorithm, which it was all free because I didn't belong to it, and I wanted to see what they were going to do. So I set a stopwatch, and 12 hours into it, I checked because a lot of people were here, but I put the volume down to like 1. And most people didn't even know it was playing or on. And then I wanted to see, like, well, if you listen to this playlist for 12 hours, like, what song are you gonna land on? It's always the same stuff. They don't change. It's just gonna be, it's like Groundhog Day. It's funny. Kind of interesting too. I want to see what will AI in its lower intelligence form be able to do with it, as far as like a simple
AI is ridiculous. I mean, you could literally tell the Google Assistant to book you a reservation at a place and it will call for you.
That's pretty cool.
It's called Google Duplex. Like, you literally, like, if I went iPhone, I would put Google Assistant on there like immediately. And the cool thing with the Pixels is that it seemed like a super big gimmick, but you could squeeze the sides of the phone and it triggers the assistant.
Oh, gotcha.
It's
one. Can you design that for me, by the way, some other time?
Yeah, you could.
You can. Oh, good.
They didn't have it, and then they redid it. So yeah, you could. Yeah, Bixby. No, Bixby.
I'm like, no, get away.
See, Bixby. What people don't understand is Bixby is, like, they say it's awful, and it really isn't. Like, compared, if you wanted to do what Google Assistant does, it is. But if you do things related to your phone, turn on a flashlight, or I set up commands. So I said, good night, Bixby, and it would turn all my sounds off on my phone, set my do not disturb on, activate all my alarms in just saying that.
Cool.
So that's something that I think Google Assistant has it now. They have commands, but I really don't use them.
When we would go for walks up in Dallas, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You were always using it. It was always listening to you too.
Right.
Stuff would mess up on it. They have the right idea, but well, look who they're against.
You know? Well, I mean, listen, this is why Google has a big. I mean, let's put it this way: they are using every single search. They are using, anytime you use that Google, they're probably actually using YouTube as well since they own it. But anytime that you search anything or anytime that you use Google, they are collecting that data. And that's why the Google Assistant is what it is. Apple doesn't have a search platform. Samsung doesn't have a search platform. So they're never going to be able to compete because they don't have the data that Google has.
Agreed. Absolutely, 100%. Hey, did you want to talk about your experience with Sprint? I already said mine about AT&T and
Sprint.
Oh, you with Sprint or you with Verizon?
Verizon.
There you go. I don't know anyone on Sprint.
Verizon's excellent service. Where we are here, they have CDMA technology. The reason why it's better is because there's more towers, because CDMA is older technology. They're claiming that next year everybody's going to go over to that VoLTE, that voice over LTE. And that everybody will be basically on the same playing field. So then I'm really curious to see what these carriers are going to do. Because
vacation, I saw AT&T do a fake 5G. It wasn't real. It just screwed my phone up. Why did they do that?
Well, Qualcomm, who makes the processors in the Android phones, the Snapdragons, their new processor, which we'll probably see first in the S11 in March, is going to be pretty awesome. It looks, but it's also going to require you to have 5G, which I don't know what everyone's hard on is for 5G. Like, all of a sudden, like, it's not ready to go. That's
not at all. In fact, when they tried to do their fake launch of it, I don't know where I was on vacation. I was just walking around and someone asked me, like, hey, you're going to do your thing with the photos? I'm like, no, I can't, because AT&T is screwing everything up with fake 5G.
No.
They did. There's a mess. I couldn't use my phone on vacation. What
the hell? Yeah, I mean, even Raymond says it's not ready at all, and it's not. So I don't know why people are pushing this so hard. I don't know why, but it's just carriers to go and be like, oh, get this 5G phone,
get the newest one, the one that costs $1,000. Buy this OLED.
Yeah.
Above.
I mean, dude, the S10 that was with 5G was what, like $1,500-$1,600 because of the 5G. And you know, it's just, and it's not, it's fast, mind you, it's super fast, but like all the tests that I did is people going to places with a 5G tower and standing next to the tower, you know.
I hear you, dude. You're preaching to the choir. I don't need to have the newest, baddest, and best, and most expensive stuff out of everything. Sometimes if you just use a little common sense, so you can get a whole lot more for
Right, Raymond.
You know,
yeah,
your brain.
Yeah, Raymond's saying you have to be inside of the tower. You have to, you know, you gotta be right on top of the friggin' thing. So
that's too much work.
But with Verizon, I mean, I have no complaints. My family's been with them forever. The only time we did leave was to get the iPhone 4 because at that time Apple didn't have iPhones on Verizon, so we did switch over to AT&T just to get the iPhone 4, which I still think that's like that was a monster move when that iPhone 4 came out.
Verizon network, not the Verizon network, the Apple, like the best network for Apple. Is that Sprint or Verizon?
I mean, it's going to be the same for everyone. So it doesn't matter if it's Apple or Android. I mean, for us,
I didn't think so, but their ad campaigns are ridiculous.
Yeah, for us it's Verizon around here. For other people, you know, they might see better on T-Mobile, or they might see, you know, it's just it's all with like the towers. And like I said, the only reason that they are so good is because they're using older technology. So
yeah, retrofit it, get it done that way. The stuff's all there, right?
Well, it's yeah, but it's still not like it's good for coverage because there's more, but it's not good overall. So let's put it with Verizon, you still can't send a text message if you're on a call. Oh. With AT&T you can, and that's because of this old technology that they're using.
Okay, gotcha.
So I mean, I use like the Wi-Fi calling now, which is nice.
I do that. That's the first thing. If we ever did a tutorial on how to like switch out your SIM card to switch providers.
Well, I thought you wanted to include that here.
Yeah, we could do that. I just have to get some materials. We'll have to shoot it a different time. But if you wanted to do like a tutorial, I would want to show people like while this is setting up, you enable your texting and I think it's what, text and talk go through your home Wi-Fi while you're there, right?
Right.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's something I didn't even know that you could have done, should have been doing for a very long time.
Yeah, and included with the smartphone talk, I did want to say that I feel I've always bought my phones outright, and I just feel that it's just better. Samsung is really good for this because when they put out a new phone, they give you ridiculous trade-ins. So if you, it's a lot easier for you to be on to stay with like a Note or a S series, because you can buy one and yeah, you're gonna spend $1,000, but in 1 year when you give it back, or if you buy the next phone and you use the trade-in option, they'll give you like $650-$700.
That's good.
So they keep you in their ecosystem. So that's
you there. Oh yeah.
That was
not going anywhere.
That was another thing. This is why I originally purchased a OnePlus, was because I was so mad at Google for they wanted my 1-year-old phone. They wanted to give me $290. I paid $1,000 for it. Like that's how much. So it's showing that their phones are overpriced. Okay. Because they won't even give you money back to stay in their friggin' ecosystem.
Gotcha.
So that made me mad. And then if you own, there was the biggest benefit for me for a Pixel was that, besides the amazing camera, was that with that camera you always had, or with Google Photos, if you were a Pixel owner, you had unlimited high quality, no compression storage on your videos and photos. Cool. They took that away. Oh. So you buy their storage, like their cloud storage. So you buy it. I mean, I'm guessing that it does cost a shit ton of money if you know, you're storing millions of people's 4K videos in your cloud. I'm sure that's very costly, but I mean, we are talking Google as well. Yeah. So but what are you gonna do? So I tried the other one. I tried I tried the OnePlus, and I think it was it I feel the OnePlus is that middle ground of amazing Samsung like hardware and the software, because they stay very stock like a Pixel, but they cut corners to make their phones very, very affordable. So the phone that I bought was $599, which is like unheard of today for what you got spec wise. But having a toddler, every time I took a photo, it was blurry if the slightest movement happened.
Oh.
So I still had my Pixel. So I one day sat and did a side-by-side comparison, and the Pixel was pumping out photos and that were great, and the OnePlus was pumping out photos that were
Not so
that were blurred. And this is also using the Gcam mod. So I even tried that, and it was funny because when it did get a good photo, it was very, very, very comparable to a Pixel. Very. But it wasn't that. So I was in that 15 days, so I sent it back, and kind of was a little upset with it because I got the bundle with the case and their headphones, and their headphones are like one of the highest rated in earbuds, and they had the aptX, which is to play that, like to play it could convert, the aptX could convert FLAC files, so you get the highest quality, and the music was incredible. It sounded so good. So I didn't want to give those back, but I did. And if OnePlus could up their camera game to something comparable, like I was reading a lot. I was reading a lot of reviews, and they said that even Samsung's, while their cameras are fantastic, they still, because of the software going on behind the scenes in a Pixel, that it's taking it's taking a burst of photos, and then when someone moves, why it's not blurry is it's using its AI to piece together what it should look like. And even though Samsung and all these phones have these high quality cameras, they still don't have the AI. So you could get a comparable photo with Samsung phones compared to Pixels, but with someone like someone like Jacob, I'm gonna have a lot of trouble. And I was really going back and forth because I really, really, really love the OnePlus phone on every single other aspect. But the reason why I didn't do it is what killed me was I saw other people on Reddit talking the same thing about, I went with a Pixel because I have a toddler and it gave me the best shot. I have to take it out of my pocket, get it out and shoot,
Okay.
And the best, and why I stayed, or why I went back, was I sat there and thought, like, am I going to be okay with a year of blurry photos? Of you know what I mean? Am I really?
It wasn't the phone for you. It wasn't the right fit. You realized it quickly, and you were only in for 15 days, so you got out. That was a smart move, right?
Right. Yeah. So I'm back on Pixel, and like I said, I enjoy.
Hey, I might be going there, pal. I mean, I don't mind using my crack phone, but we'll see what happens.
Dude, listen. I mean, I don't like buying old technology. I think that's stupid. But let's go online right now. Pixel 3a XL, which, by the way, is voted by Android Police the best Android phone of 2019.
That's funny.
They're really good. They're really, really good Android website. So let's go to Google Store, and
let's find me a phone. How about that?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't tell you, huh?
Pixel looks good, man. What's wrong with it?
Listen, like I said, it was voted the best phone.
Is this a 4?
No, the 3A, because of the price you're getting. So right now,
Google Store 400, Amazon 350,
400. You can get it at Verizon for $10 a month, $9.96.
Sprint saying they'll give it to me for $5 a month. How about that? For 18 months.
Yeah. So
eBay $269.94.
Yep. so you get like the benefits of the Google everything, except you just have hardware that's a little bit turned down to compensate that price.
Listen, I don't mind. I'm using an old phone the way it is. I had this thing forever.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's the thing. Yeah. Yep. And if they stick with how they're going, it'll have a headphone jack. So
I like having the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. I have a lot of different types of headphones I like to use. I just got my first wireless one after you and I had a discussion. The Jabra 65T, which you were mortified that I got and did not get the 75T. After doing some research, I probably should have got the 75T, but
yeah.
gotta check them out before I send them back, right?
Yeah. That's it.
They're in the car with the Alexa 3rd gen. Those are the 2 deals over Black Friday that I even blinked at. It was those earphones for $99 and the new, am I saying this right? Alexa or Alexa?
Alexa.
Was $22. And you can't go wrong. I mean,
no. Yeah. Anything else?
That's pretty much everything. We talked about phones like we wanted to. Well, if people want to watch you or I actually demo switching your phone over, you and I can shoot a video on the weekend if we want to, right?
Yeah.
We can do it with this stuff. Yeah, we went over phones, some of the experiences we had, the smarter choices we're learning to make rather than just run out and buy the most expensive thing you can find. I mean, it's not necessary anymore, unless you want bragging rights, of course, because then you can say like, I have this, I have that, right?
Yeah. I still think carriers are the devil. I think they're shitty businesses. But
I'll put in the notes for this on YouTube the comparison site that I used. There was a guy, he did a great job. He made a lot of sense. He just crunched numbers on all 4 networks, and by going to a different provider on that network, you just got a better deal. So I'll tell you this right now: if I did not go with Mint Mobile, I was going to go with US Mobile. They had good prices also. They really. Okay. I don't know whose towers they use, but that was another one that really stood out to me. The person did a bunch of research, and the guy who did the videos, he does a stupid amount of research. And then I think, might have got hooked up with Mint because he started making just Mint videos. And
gotcha.
That's how I figured it out.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for watching. If you're listening on Anchor or anywhere else, thank you for listening. If you want to follow us, we are on YouTube. We're for the video. We are on Anchor or any major streaming podcast platform, which you could like, subscribe, all that stuff. Please, if you enjoy this, subscribe. It helps the channel. Share it. If you have someone that has an iPhone, share this with them and get them off that shit.
Easy there, guy. Come on there, text.
But yeah, blog posts I'm currently writing very slowly which is a topic for another podcast, which we can do whenever you'd like. But sure. I haven't written like I should in probably like 2 months because my diet's been awful. And if I fast and I eat correctly, I have copious amounts of energy where I want to put out podcasts and write and work. Gotcha. And if I eat like garbage, like I have for about 2 months now, my energy is sapped and I don't want to do anything except be a vegetable. And yeah, it sucks.
And that matters. And it's
right. Right. So Seftimorlive.com is the place, home base, where you can find everything. I also have Linktree, which is linktr.ee/Seftimor, which will give you links to everywhere. So if you enjoyed this, please do what you can to support. We appreciate it all. And we'll talk to you probably tomorrow.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.